Recording in progress.
There's an act, the Customary Initiation Act that has been passed, and the country was well commended for that. However, there's various issues that relates to the harmful practices which may violate the rights of children. One that were highlighted by the committees. One of those relates to the issues of virginity testing of girls. The committee has recommended that we need to ensure that as a country we ban this practice because it violates the rights of children. And we wish to highlight, Chairperson, that currently the current status in the country is that virginity testing is allowed according to the provisions of the Children's Act. And we did take note of the recommendation from the committee. However, this recommendation is not a recommendation that can just be implemented just like that, because some of the legislation amendments requires research to ensure that there is quite a lot of evidence to support the amendments to legislation. So what is happening currently is that the department is currently in the process of conducting research on the impact of virginity testing on the rights of children. And this work is in its initial phases, and the outcome will guide the country in terms of the way forward that needs to be taken to implement this particular recommendation. The committee further highlighted that they are concerned about the kidnapping of boys to unofficial registration schools and the deaths of children in such schools. And with regard to the Customary Initiation Act, we wish to highlight that this act prohibits harmful practices under that section 28, subsection 7, thereby ensuring that initiates are not subjected to any physical harm, including skin cutting or permanent marking. The act further criminalizes the kidnapping and abduction of children for initiation. It further criminalizes the female genital mutilation and also the participation without consent where the person is unsuitable to work with children, including the misconduct disguised as discipline during those initiation processes. While the committee commended the country for passing this law, the Customary Initiation Act, they recommended that as a country, we need to strengthen the awareness raising campaigns to ensure that every stakeholder in this field knows about the policy and the implications. They are well aware about it, including the children and the parents of those children who attend the initiation schools. So since the policy came into operation, the Department of Traditional Affairs, in collaboration with the National Initiation Oversight Committee and the Provincial Initiation Coordination Committees, have conducted the Customary Initiation Awareness campaigns in 2024 across the hotspot districts. And this includes the OR Tambo district in the Eastern Cape, the Ngakamudiri Molema district in the Northwest, and also the Sikukuni district in Limpopo. These campaigns were targeted at traditional leaders, initiation principals, caregivers, parents, youth, health professionals, the SAPS, and the NPA. The objectives of these awareness raising campaigns was to promote the legal compliance, especially with the minimum initiation age of 16 years, including the medical fitness requirements. Furthermore, to combat harmful practices such as abductions, gangsterism, and unregistered initiation schools. To clarify the enforcement roles of SAPS, including the prosecutorial responsibilities of the NPAC, and also to reinforce community education and traditional leadership and accountability. Additionally, the Minister of COPTA has also led the direct high-level engagement in the Eastern Cape province, focusing on initiation-related deaths, illegal schools, and coordination challenges across departments. In terms of challenges with regard to the implementation or coordination of this work and the way forward, is that because the Department of Social Development is mainly responsible to ensure the country's compliance with these international and regional UN treaties. And we work very hard as the department to ensure that we gather inputs from various departments to ensure that we are able to complete our reports on time. So the challenge that we are experiencing is that there is sometimes we experience the lack of response or the delayed submission of inputs by departments, and this impacts negatively on the process of drafting the reports. And if the departments are not submitting or responding on time, it will have an impact as on the country as a whole, because then it means the department may not be able to finalize the report on time and submit the report on the date that the committee has requested that the report be submitted to. So on the way forward, we wish to highlight, Chairperson, that because our report to the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child is due in September 2026, I'm sorry. We have commenced with the drafting of the report, and we are working, placing much effort on ensuring that this report is being completed so that we submit it on time. We have engaged with the key departments affected, and we have started to receive communication or responses from departments, even though this is coming at a very slow pace, but departments are aware and they are slowly responding. And those that have not submitted inputs, they have indicated that they are working on the inputs then, and they will be submitting. So we hope that this process will be running smoothly and we will oblige with our reporting obligation. I think that will be the last slide, and thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. What is the last slide? Is the recommendation? Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members. This is what we have for the Select Committee this morning. Thank you. Over to you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, DG. Honorable members, we have listened to the presentation from the department. So the floor is now open for any questions of clarity. Members, over to you. Honorable Adriaanse, you can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Yes, I would like to have some examples of successful implementation where it has taken place of these recommendations that you have done. And we have certain challenges with the bills, especially with the election that took place in 2024, and it has been sent back, etc., etc. So now we have these challenges, and I would like to know what strategies in the interim are being implemented. I'd listened to what has been presented, but down the ground level, what strategies are being implemented? And thank you for the presentation first, and thank you for addressing the issues for the rights of the children, the discrimination against children, especially those with disabilities, and the protection that you're aiming at for with regards to their health services, etc. But I want to know, apart from the departments and everyone involved in capacitating the adults, how's the access to services communicated with the children themselves? We recently had a case 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks ago, where a child of almost 2 years were literally murdered by abuse. And that's getting stuck with me. This weekend we lost another one and a little one. And the thing is, hunger is real, neglect is real, and child abuse is very, very, very real. And sensitizing children themselves how to access help is very, very important. And I would like to know, what ways are you using in getting the children really to access and know how to do that? Thank you.
Chair, you can note me. I do.
Thank you, Honorable. Penny, you can proceed.
No, thank you, Chair. Let me also welcome the presentation and that have been made. Chair, I want to say that first and foremost that rights of the children, yes, are indeed one of the rights in the Bill of Rights that must be protected. Indeed, they are protected. However, Chair, there is a question that one of enforcement of those rights, because as per the presentation is saying, when it comes to the question of enforcing the rights of these children, it becomes an issue. The practical example that and also the question that I must put before I can further engage is, how do we de-racialize, the question of protection of these rights? The reason being, we had a recent case that we had of a child that was seriously, violated, her age and everything. But it divided the society, based on racial lines, because when the suspicion was there, instead of focusing on the question of how do you address the question of suspicion, it became a race issue. And also those who consistently, stick on protecting, who are consistently, moving on racial lines, on addressing it. Then that's the question that I'm having, because in as much as the convention and also, but what programs are followed in ensuring that we are addressing that, but there is this question that we are currently confronted, So I wanted to because, yeah, thanks. Let me stop there, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Penny. Honorable Sibande.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you also the department to give us this presentation, but nevertheless, mine won't be long. Chairperson, I wanted to find out from the department that whether the institution is well equipped to face the material conditions on the ground. For example, as the government have reacted by passing the Bella Bill. The intention of the Bella Bill is to protect kids, to protect everything. For an example, the issue of SGPs and the like. There are schools who are still resisting to implement the correct or to take the laws of the Bella Bills and the like. Because my understanding, if you talk about the discrimination of children, it doesn't mean that you talk about the discrimination of children with a disability only. Yes, it's a fact. But also, to me, I feel it is a discrimination whereby some of the school, they don't want to take black students, only to find that that school is not even a private school, but it's a government school. So that is my question. And then, Chairperson, I wanted to make one question or those comments with a request as well, that most of the time the department doesn't respond to the questions. They respond, but they select what questions to be responded to. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Sibande. I don't see any other hands, honorable members.
Chairperson, Chairperson,
Yes, Honorable Baines, you can proceed.
I don't know what's wrong with my gadget of my captions here. I cannot get up my hand, but can I also it's more a comment, maybe with a little question afterwards. Can I proceed?
You may, Honorable Baines.
Chairperson, let me also accept the presentation. I think this presentation, according to me, is very well informative. When I actually had the time to go through these presentations beforehand and listen to the officials this morning, it seems as if strides have been made, because they, on the one hand, they will have the recommendation and then they will inform us how far they are. My concern actually is also the same as the former committee members, going to the ground down. For me, the awareness of this children's bill, I don't see it on the ground. And that is why I would like to ask the department, can they maybe tell us right at the moment, what awareness campaigns do they have currently? So that when we have our oversight, or when we get to rural areas, we can ask, but why do those people not have these awareness campaigns? Thank you, Chairperson. I'm done.
Thank you, Honorable Baines. I just want to thank the department for the presentation. I just have a few questions regarding the presentation, DG. In terms of the child and youth care centers, it was indicated that the monitoring is taking place quarterly. I just want to find out what kind of monitoring. Is it reports that is submitted to the department, or do the officials go to the ground to see what is happening at the CICCs? And then the other one is on the slide of harmful practices. It was indicated that the department is in the process of research on the virginity testing on the rights of children. I just want to check how far are this process, and when will we receive this outcome of this research? And then the other one is in terms of the children with disabilities. They indicated that they want to help, especially the families of this disabled children, with a short break or relief or caregiving, because we all know it's 24/7 for these parents. Is the process there, or how far is the process of giving help to these parents? I think it's, and then the other one is the support groups, support group structures in the communities. Does the department know of such support groups in the different communities? Maybe if we can also have programs, awareness programs, to inform our communities of these existing support structures. Thank you very much, DG. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Chairperson and members that has posed some questions and comments. What I need to say is that these UN statutes, which we are signatory to, relates to a broad range of things that affect children. In other words, it's everything. So they made the United Nations Committee on the Rights of the Child, including the African Committee of Experts on the Right and the Welfare of the Child, put out a lot of things that involve everyone in the country, all government departments. So what we were presenting, because the Office of the Right of the Child is within the Department of Social Development, but the implementation of the things that we are monitoring takes place in other government departments: education, justice, labor, traditional affairs. But also it talks about the services that the country runs from ourselves and from any other. And you know, ourselves, education and the health, we run in terms of the constitution a concurrent function. National does the policy, but the service takes place at a provincial level, which is at a lower level. So we have got there's a lot of speculation, a lot of recommendation that was made for us. Like, for example, the virginity testing, some of the things is just to say, don't do this in this country. So our response is very comprehensive, and I would request, I think, next time, maybe Honorable Chair, when we come, we have a bigger pool, we bring education here. There's an issue of Bella Bill. They need to answer for that. And we also look at the justice, NPA, why do they take long to finalize some cases? And then we also have other government departments. But broadly, with us, we have got all the welfare services that comes from us. But you might have seen when we said where this report went to. It went to all of them, and this report comes from everyone, as coordinated by the Department of Social Development nationally. But we appreciate the comments. I will specifically ask the team here, led by the DDG Welfare, to respond to specific questions in relation to areas like the CYCC, Child and Youth Care Centers, issues of the awareness, where is it taking place, the monitoring aspect. So I will ask them to answer those questions. We appreciate your guidance and leadership, honorable members. Over to you, Caesar, and the team.
Thank you, honorable members, and thank you, DG. I will respond to questions related to the department that members have raised. I think the first one is around the programs. What programs do we have on the ground that addresses the issues of children, issues of child protection care, as well as violence against children? We have a number of programs on the ground that we are implementing as a department, and we also have programs that we are monitoring as national department to ensure that those programs are even implemented in provinces. For example, we've got a program called Resiha. This program is implemented in our drop-in centers. We've got plus minus 1,200 sites countrywide where they are implementing this program. This program is a prevention as well as an early intervention program where it intervenes at a local level. Children, when they come back from school, they are dropped at these drop-in centers to be assisted in quite a number of areas. One, we deal with the issues of their education and educational support, homeworks. Two, we provide food because some families, they don't have enough food, so make sure that there's food. We also do assessment to check if they are at risk of sexual violence. If they are, then we immediately refer to social workers. We also deal with life skills program, and then during school holidays, those drop-in centers, they render holiday school programs, and those programs are a safety measure for children because we are creating safe space in communities so that children, they don't become victims of sexual exploitation and child abuse. So those are the programs that we are running. The second program that we are strong on is an online safety parenting program as well as children. Data that we have received is that a lot of children, they are in the spaces, digital spaces, and there's a lot of digital violation that happens. Children are not protected. They speak to strangers. They end up having relationships with strangers to a point where they get trafficked, and their relationship started at a digital platform. So as a department, we have partnered with UNICEF to train children on safety around online safety measures. We are also training parents now, so the parents, they are able to monitor what is it that their children are doing in these spaces, and the program is growing bigger and bigger because young people, they are interested and they are always online. The third program that we do as a department is the parenting program. Again, the research that has just been undertaken by the Medical Research Council on violence in the country, GBV, they highlighted that one of the key things that we need to do as a country is to really invest in parenting program. We need to upscale the work that we do with families, specifically looking at the parents, because that's where abuse, neglect starts. It starts with parents, it starts in families before it becomes bigger and to a point where even strangers, they end up abusing children. So we are focusing on that. We've got quite a number of programs around parenting because we believe parents must be treated according to their age, their needs, and so on, developmental areas. We don't do one size fits all, but we look at their level of needs, and then we allocate them accordingly. So we've got Family Matters program, we've got Sinovuyo program, which is a teenage program for mothers who are teens. We've got those programs for them to empower them and make sure that they provide good parenting responsibilities for their children. So those are the programs that are on the ground. We are implementing them, we are upscaling them, particularly with this 90-day program of action that has just been approved by Cabinet in May. Those are some of the programs that we have targeted to make sure that we deal with violence against children. The last one, I think the issue of child and youth care centers. Yes, we've got these child and youth care centers in all our 9 provinces. And one of the things that we do before we monitor them, we do conduct site visits where we go and assess what kind of programs do they have, because they are expected to have programs that will rehabilitate, if it's for the secure care centers, the child youth care centers that are dealing with youth in conflict with the law. There is an expectation that the young people or children in conflict with the law must be rehabilitated in terms of the therapeutic programs that we have. And then when the other areas that deal with child and youth care centers are children that are in need of care and protection, we also ensure that there are empowering programs that they go through. So we do assessment and check if that facility is rendering programs as they are trained. And if there are deficiencies, then we intervene and train them. We deploy officials both from national and provincial to go and assist them. We will put up a developmental plan for them. They go through that developmental plan. And when we are done, then we do site visits, unannounced visits, as well as announced visits to monitor progress. And we also receive quarterly reports where we are able to, track progress and for us to be able to know exactly where we are. So it's quite intense intervention that we do with them, because most of them, they are there for months and years. So it's easy and better to work with them. The interventions that we are doing are quite sustainable, because you know that they are there for some time. So it does give us ample time to transform their lives. And then the last one is around the research. The research, indeed, we were advised to conduct a research, because this is such a topical area and it's very sensitive. It does impact on other sectors of the community, like the traditional leader sector. So we had to be independent and make sure that we appoint a service provider that will look at all the group's interests, and at the end of the day, after that research, they will come up with the recommendations that will be infused in our bill as we continue to refine the Children's Act bill that we are currently working on. So we have appointed the service provider to look at the issues of harmful practices. And we are hoping that we will receive the report in the next 6 months. And based on those recommendations, we will then look at our current practices as well as the legislation that is ongoing. I think, Chair, I've responded. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and members. That's what we could at this moment. And David, you wanted to add? Okay, there's one addition from David.
Good morning, Chairperson. Thank you very much, and thank you, DG. And I'm David Chabalala. I'm also from the Department of Social Development, Office on the Rights of the Child. Mine is only one, Chairperson. It has to do with, I think, the first honorable member asked as to whether can we share a few of the successful implementation of the recommendations or concluding observations. I just want to talk about how we communicate with children. I think it's one of the key observations or recommendations by the 2 treaty bodies, where it was acknowledged that in this country we are having a child participation platform, and I think my colleague who presented here mentioned the Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament. And of course, we are very proud that we're at the verge of ensuring that we institutionalize. And institutionalization means we want to take this platform down to the ward levels. In essence, we are working with municipalities to make sure that children from ward levels, and of course they will subsequently go to the local levels, they must have what we call junior councils. And I must say, Chairperson, that there are other municipalities that have already started this work. And we are very excited that this will culminate in a structured child participation in the country. And also, maybe let me use this opportunity to indicate that we just hosted the Africa Children's Summit at the beginning of April. We are so happy that it was successful. And coincidentally, a day or two after the summit, the Africa Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of Children had a sitting in Lesotho. They received the outcome statement, which of course, one of the key issues is to amplify the voices of children. So they took a resolution that they are going to influence all the member states in the continent to ensure that they really create platform for children. So in South Africa, it's work in progress. We are very happy that at least we're doing something, and the two treaty bodies are acknowledging that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that additions. Honorable Chair, let me take it back to you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, DG and the team, for your response in terms of our questions as well as the comments that the members have made. Honorable members, delegation from the department, as well as the support staff. I just want to thank the delegation from the department for the presentation, as well as the responses from your side. I will just request the department to, can you please excuse us because we have some other issues in the committee that we must proceed with. Thank you very much, DG and your team. We really appreciate it. Honorable members, we can proceed with our agenda. We have received the minutes. Is there any? It's the minutes of the 14th of May 2025. Honorable members, can I get a mover for the adoption of the minutes? Honorable Adriaanse.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson, if we can just quickly look at number 4. It's stated there, Mr. Sibande moved for the adoption of the agenda. It should be for the adoption of the program. And if that can be corrected, I move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Adriaanse, for that correction. I'm sure that they will correct that one. Honorable Breed.
Chair, and with that amendment, I will second the proposal to adopt the minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Breed. So the minutes is adopted. Is there any other issues from the side of the honorable members? I don't think so, because we must go and look for the venue of our next meeting. So I just want to thank the honorable members for being here and for your inputs as well as your questions. And thank you very much to our support staff. Thank you very much for your contribution in terms of our committee work. Honorable members, this meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Makwele.
Thanks, colleagues. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you just now. Bye.
Yes, Honorable.
Amanda.